Hello.
What's that intro? It's Dumb Guy Live. We're here, everybody. Welcome. Murph, you're back after an absence. I know you
I'm
were
back.
busy. Let me think of some current event that I can link you to that
I
would
was
be problematic.
I was in Disney
You're
World.
back. You joined John Morant's entourage for a little bit last week, but that got sort of taken care of. He's away from the team, and so you are too. And so we are back with the Classico crew.
I'm back.
Myself, P. We got Murph. We got Jamie. We'll start with Murph. Murph, how you doing today?
Doing great. I am doing great. I'm home. I'm here. I'm ready to talk some wrestling. I'm ready to argue with Parker about Dragon Gate. We're ready, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. We got he was derailing trains. We also got Jamie, and he's somehow disappeared. The professionalism on this show is just it's remarkable. Jamie, don't let the Wrestle Purist branding cover your face, please. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. Speaking of Dragon Gate, I just got finished watching the stuff I needed to watch for this show. So for once, I'm I'm able to. I'm not going to be like, oh, I didn't watch it. I've got some. Just watch some of the shows. Fired up. My, me and Murph, big Liverpool fans, we just beat Man United 7-0 the other day. So I'm, I'm ready to get into it.
Parker, do you
Yeah,
know?
I don't really
You know how to spell? You know how to count?
Nice,
to seven?
dude. Yes, good bit, dude. Nice,
You know,
nice.
Do you know how to count to
Yeah.
7?
Do I need to count to 7 in Korean?
No.
One,
This is how you count
two,
to 7.
3.
Gakpo.
Yeah, you're gonna list the goal
Gakpo,
scorers.
Salah,
Yes.
Nunez, Salah, Firmino. That's how you count to 7 in scalps.
All I'm gonna ask is that people take a look at who's leading the Premier League table, and that's all that
The Arsenal.
all that really matters. All right. So anyway, let's okay. Jumping in ahead here. There was so much that went on in Japanese wrestling this weekend. Really, there were big shows from multiple companies, world title matches, all the whole shebang. But there was also a major American wrestling pay-per-view, and I appreciate Mavs Fan 84 for asking us with a $1.99 super chat. Before you get into Puro, did you watch the AEW pay-per-view? I assume we all did. Jamie, I don't know if I heard like anything about it from you, but yes, I assume you watched that show.
I didn't watch it live, so I wasn't like reacting to it in the chat. You know
Oh,
what I mean?
because you were a little sleepy boy.
Yeah, I had the university in the morning, so I couldn't watch live. But I've caught up with it, and I thought it was tremendous.
It was a great show. I think it's one of the best AEW pay-per-views they've ever done. Two like classics, 2 of maybe the 10 best matches in AEW history.
Agreed.
I'd say a couple more just like awesome, great matches
Agreed.
in there too. Nothing that was bad on the show either, which is it feels like there's always like one, you know what I mean? But nothing on the show was even bad. Super like tightly put together, considering, people were like, 8 matches is shorter than normal, but I mean, it's 8 matches and one of them
was an hour.
Is an hour long. Like that's a long time. That's a lot of wrestling. So to keep that pace and that excitement going, I think is pretty remarkable. I think it's the best American wrestling show we've had maybe since like All Out 2021, maybe something like that. I'd say.
I would disagree with that.
What was up there?
I personally liked Revolution.
Forbidden Door.
And Forbidden Door. I like those two a little more than this one, but I really enjoyed this show. I went in with not low expectations, but I didn't have the expectations I usually have for an AEW pay-per-view. So I was, and it blew it away. There were no bad matches. The main event and the death match were 2 of the best matches I've seen in a very, very long time.
Mm-hmm.
And that was just tremendous. And there was nothing bad on the show. I mean, the women's match and the Wardlow match weren't great, but they were good, which is really all you need from a match like that.
Yeah, it's like impossible to have a show where like literally every match is great. It's just not like in the card.
Yeah, it's like not a thing. But like, no, I really enjoyed the show. It was a great show, and I'm happy that you brought it up because I really wanted to talk about it just a little bit. Give our 2 cents. But yeah, big fan of the show.
Jamie, love it?
Yeah, I thought it was. I agree with pretty much all you're saying. I have Forbidden Door slightly above it for me, but I think like the peak of the show was like some of the easily the best we've seen in AEW. Iron Man match was incredible. I preferred the Texas Death match. That was my favorite match on the show. But I can see why you go either way there. And then just a ton of other stuff. But the trios match was incredible. And yeah, even like the matches that, like you said, the people weren't super high on going into it. The women's match comes to mind. Well, while she said it, it wasn't great. It was like, it was pretty decent. It wasn't like bad by any means. So yeah, really solid show.
I love AEW. I think it's the best American wrestling promotion of all time. Let's talk about this main event. Bryan Danielson challenging MJF for the AEW World Championship in a 60-minute Iron Man match. This one, if there's one criticism you could have about it, I think it was that it didn't like start off the hottest. I do think that's like a pattern in big MJF matches. If you recall, like both Punk matches also kind of had that formula too. Do you guys remember at like Revolution last year when the Punk match was going on and like halfway through people are like, and the crowd's not that into this. And it's like it's like the Heat segment.
I was in
you were there.
I didn't really gauge that, but outside of the MJF Darby Allin match at Full Gear last year, I think that is true that MJF usually like starts slow and tries to build everything up.
And to be fair,
go ahead.
To be fair, like they're about to go like an hour plus, so
exactly, it's hard to keep up that pace.
They can't
again,
go like.
I don't know if that's something that's like. I don't know if you grant them too much there because like they booked the hour match, like you don't have to do an hour match.
Of course. But, you gotta consider the they're gonna let up the match.
So it starts out. There's not a fall until like 24 minutes or something like that, right? And he just pins him. Like Danielson just pins him with like the Busaiku knee, right? So he's up 1-0. Then we get some shenanigans a little bit later where there's can Murph run down the like chronology of what happened?
So MJF gives Danielson a low blow, right, and that he goes one fall up, and then MJF takes advantage of the no downtime rule,
reset,
and he pins him twice. And I personally loved this. Because I like WWE in Iron Man matches, WWE always have the hokey, let everyone get back up and then restart rule. And I think that's just so stupid. But like here, like they kept wrestling and like it was smart. I really enjoyed it. This was my second favorite spot of the match. I'll get to my favorite spot of the match later on.
So after that, it's like, is it 3-3 at that point? Because then Danielson immediately gets one back, right? Because he like rolls him up or something.
Yes, it was 3-3. Right?
Yeah. So they wrestle a lot. It's building and building, getting to high spots, just great drama and just great wrestling, right? MJF hits a gigantic elbow drop through a table on the outside. They're making allusions to Bret Hart versus Shawn Michaels, of course, maybe the most famous Iron Man match in American history. So there's all these, references to that I think are nice and fun, with MJF being HBK and Danielson being the Hitman. But we get to the very end. Danielson's got MJF in the label lock, right? And he's got him. But MJF manages to not tap until right after the 60-minute call, which is great. It's like it's literally as close as you can get to winning without actually winning. So after that, it's like, and see, this is something I think AEW should do more of, just being like kind of unpredictable, because I think at the start of the promotion, Tony Khan was really intent on this like sports like production, presentation, right? So that's why they have like the judges if a match goes past the time limit, and they have all this rule set and the rankings and all that. And frankly, wrestling doesn't need it. You know what I mean? It's just, it's fake. Like, who cares? So I think wrestling can get really exciting, even if it's not the most, even if it's not the most logical thing, when we get to the end of the match like this and we don't know what the rules are. You know what I mean? What happens when we get to 60 minutes? Do they go into overtime? Is it a draw? What's the deal? All right.
The thing is, Can I talk about the overtime?
Yeah.
The thing is, like, I think everyone kind of knew that there was gonna be an overtime when it ended at 60 minutes, but there was still like that minute where you're like, what are they gonna do? And then you hear Tony Schiavone, who's basically like the voice of Tony Khan, like in the kayfabe, and then Tony Schiavone comes out and he talking to Justin Roberts, and they give this babyface announcement. Tony Khan has decided that this match is not gonna end like this. It's gonna have sudden death overtime. But still, like, you knew that the overtime was coming, but just having that like second of like doubt was just awesome to me. I like how they didn't like put a bunch of rules on a screen before the match, because this was great.
So they go another 7 minutes. The Danielson essentially has him beat. I think he's got him in a crab, or like a single leg crab, maybe. Single leg crab. MJF reaches the ropes, taps as he's reaching the ropes, so like he's in the ropes, so it's not a fall, right? So Danielson thinks he's won because he feels the tap, and he's like, yeah, I won. Danielson rolls outside. Between the 60-minute mark and the overtime, MJF had been administered oxygen, and he leans over, he grabs the oxygen tank, whacks Danielson with it. It covers him. Danielson kicks out, which is great too. I love that they're able to extend that a little bit. But then MJF locks him in the label lock. They do the 3 arm raises, right? Danielson fires up on the third one, but it's just not enough. He's got nowhere to go, and he taps out to the label lock, and MJF retains. I think this is the best Iron match in American wrestling history. I think pretty clearly. I don't think there's anything that's even kind of in its. I don't even think that's in its like stratosphere. I think this match is so superior, especially because there's no commercials. There's not like there was a ton of people forget because it's Brock and Angle and they're not really known for this. But there was a ton of like bullshit, hardcore DQ stuff in the Iron match that they did. This was somehow less of that, despite the MJF's shenanigans. I think this was an incredible main event, and if it hadn't, I really don't think there's like anything to write home about the first 15 20 minutes, which is a long time to have wrestling where there's not much to talk about. So it was hard for me to give it like the all-time great perfect rating, you know what I mean? But it was just an awesome main event. And MJF, we're privy to some stuff on MJF, and he very clearly wants to be seen as a wrestler who can go in the ring. And I think if you have any questions about that after this, like you shouldn't have had any questions about it a year ago after the Punk stuff, and in the Sammy matches and the Darby matches and all that. Yeah, but I think that like there's no question about MJF's talent as a wrestler.
The spot in this match where Max pulls out the ring and he goes to hit Danielson with the ring, he misses. Danielson, I think, does a back body drop, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I think so. And then Danielson gets on his knees and starts doing the yes chant. For the first time in this a year and a half AEW run, he does the yes chant. And oh my God, this was awesome. He does the Busaiku knee, and then all the the finish comes. But that spot was wow. It was my favorite spot on the pay-per-view, which after that Moxley in a Page match, like I wouldn't believe that because I loved so many spots in that match. But after that Danielson started in the yes chant, I always had goosebumps. That was awesome.
Jamie, anything to add here?
I think pretty much cover most of it, but like I would agree on the point of the first portion of this match not really being the most like.
It was a Poison Rana. My bad. It was not a back body drop. Poison Rana.
Yes. Yeah. No, I know. When you said Poison Rana, I knew exactly what you're talking about. Yeah, it was great.
But yeah, just like I kind of agree with like I didn't give it the whole 5 mainly because of like the opening portion of the match wasn't as kind of as exciting as the rest of the match. But that's like I said, with it being a 60 minutes and overtime, I can kind of forgive them a little bit for it not being full throttle the whole way through. MJF after the match looked like he'd been through an absolute war. You saw him in the post show press conference, and he had that. So I just thought it was excellent way to cap off a really great show.
I don't want to talk about the whole show, but the other match I want to talk about is Jon Moxley versus Hangman Page in the Texas Death Match, which if you didn't have the main event as your best match on the show, I think just about everybody else had this one as their favorite match. For me, it's like really hard to pick between the two. I think they're both just classics. Like they're just great. So this is just like it's like so cliche to like be like, oh, it's so violent, but it like is. It was just really, really violent, and there's just not. But it's also like it's not violent in a contrived way, like a lot of like Japanese death matches can be, where clearly spending lots of time setting up high spots, and there's very, they don't have quite enough smoke and mirrors to like make it to like help you suspend your disbelief. Like everything was done with intentionality, everything was done with a purpose, everything was done to be violent, to be entertaining, to be as to act like these two hate each other, right? Because if you genuinely hate someone, you're not spending 90 seconds setting up like a ladder bridge or something like that, right? You're just beating the shit out of them. But there's within a minute there's like barbed wire, there's forks, we get a curb stomp onto bricks, we get chains, we get chairs, we get tables. There's just it's just so crazy with all the stuff in this match. Eventually, at the very end, Hangman Page essentially hangs, as his name would indicate, Jon Moxley over the top rope with a chain, forces him to tap out. Just an incredible hardcore match. Like it's like a way tighter version, an even more violent version of Moxley Omega from Full Gear 2019.
Mm-hmm.
This is like the pinnacle of, aside from maybe Anarchy in the Arena, this is like the pinnacle of AEW hardcore matches.
I would also go. I'd add in that Britt Thunder Rosa original.
Yeah, that's a great one too.
I would put that in, but my two favorite spots, because this was like it wasn't a spot fest, but they're like the spots were a highlight of the match. I really liked when they did the curb stomp onto the bricks, and even more when the whole crowd started singing Seth Rollins' theme. That really that popped me. I thought that was awesome. And then back in like 2017. Hangman Page would carry a noose around his neck, and he'd always do that, like hang spot outside of the ring. That was like one of his signature things. And then Jay Lethal did it to him, so then he stopped bringing the noose around. So that callback to that was just I really enjoyed that. That was big for me.
Jamie, was this as violent as you wanted it to be?
Yeah, it was perfect. It was exactly the kind of match I'd envisioned. I've loved the feud between these two. I think this was my favorite like story we were telling going into the show. And I think you made an excellent point about the spots not feeling like too contrived, right? Because and it's not a knock on other death matches. Sometimes I like a bit of like silly nonsense where they set up like these ridiculous structures and stuff. But I think for the story we were telling and like the hatred between these two, it just felt like they actually wanted to kill each other. So
oh my God.
Yeah, I thought it was perfect. Mox had a fork and stuff, so it was like some good violence.
And I of course think. What were you saying? Wait, hold on.
Monty's comment.
Who gave it 3.5? No, he didn't. He's messing around. He's talking about this, which I simply don't believe, but
I believe it.
Anyway, so I think this match is especially pertinent. Obviously, both of these guys have histories in Japan. They've both have done G1 climaxes. Moxley was obviously IWGP US heavyweight champion for a long time. So nice little callbacks there. Nice relevance to our show, I guess. So AEW Revolution was a great show. And yeah, I mean, we've got Double or Nothing, and then after that is Forbidden Door 2, hopefully. So looking forward to that as well. Okay, we got some super chats to get through. I appreciate your patience if I have not read yours. Waka is a specialist in failure. I assume this is talking about Waka Tsukiyama.
True.
She's a crying merchant. I'm still waiting to see it with her. Announced for an upcoming New Blood show is Waka Tsukiyama teaming with Tam Nakano against Kairi and Nanai Takahashi, 7-Up. And the sort of ultimatum that Tam has given Waka is, you have to win on this by this time, or you will not be in Cosmic Angels anymore. So Jamie, talk about this. Have you enjoyed the Waka story? Like, what are your thoughts on her? Because I think Stardom fans generally like really love her and see her as like a lovable loser. But bro, Nanai and Kairi are maybe the two Stardom adjacent people I would expect least to lose to Waka Tsukiyama. So we'll see what happens here.
Yeah, I think with the Waka thing, it's I think for a good while I was kind of fired up about it, and then I think, I kind of understand they've probably held off until we've got cheering crowds back, and because of that, it's kind of gone on for like a long time, and the pop eventually will be big if it happens, which I'm not convinced about because, like you said, the two opponents that are in there with aren't they don't exactly lose an awful lot, but yeah, I think after a while it kind of got to a point where like every single Waka Tsukiyama match on any sort of show was just kind of like it's not happening here. So she was always the one to be losing. But also you mentioned the stipulation about the ultimatum Tam's given her. Waka's now had their own kind of stipulation because initially it was if she loses. She'll be out of Cosmic Angels. She's now said if she loses, she's out of Stardom.
Oh, she's leaving Stardom. Yeah.
Like altogether. So, I don't know whether, I mean, you'd assume she's winning, but also like I don't know, man. Yeah,
are they gonna do some like shitty count out? Because that doesn't like feel good.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like that doesn't.
It can't be. Yeah. It can't be Tam pinning one of them because that's not the moment, right?
Yeah, that's not it. Yeah.
So sounds to me like they're sending her ass to the shindies.
Yeah, maybe she's maybe she's gonna leave for a little bit, come back.
She's been with the company for a year and a half. She's 0-135 in her career. So maybe she gets that one upcoming soon. Thank you, Mourinho, for that. I appreciate that. My long lost child, $1.99 super chat, son. Papa, did you get a mustache because of Vince? No. This actually takes more than like a day to grow, believe it or not. So I've actually had this for a while, and it's also like, as you can tell, not a mustache per se, more of beard. But I appreciate the reference there. Thank you, son. I see you showing up on other shows. You know what shows I'm on, and it's this one, and it's only this one. But if you want to keep giving money to people, I guess I won't stop you. But that's about that. Then from Anwar Starwind, how is your match of the year list looking right now? This is an S-rank show. Keep up the good work. Oh, thank you. We appreciate that. Me, Omega Ospreay, and the All Japan tag, Kento and Nomura versus Yuma and Nomura, right? I think those are the two best matches of the year for me. Just below that would be like Okada Shingo, Okada Kaito, and the two matches we just talked about from Revolution as well. Anything I'm missing, boys?
I really enjoyed Mercedes versus Kyrie.
Yes, that's up there too.
So
yep,
I'd throw that in there.
If I had to do it, sorry, go Jamie.
I'm just trying to think. No, go. You go ahead.
If I do a top 5, I would go Omega Ospreay number 1. I would do Max and Danielson number 2. I would do Okada and Shingo number 3. I would do the Rey de Parejas final number 4. And number 5, I'd do probably a tie between Brian and Roosh. And
Brian and Roosh was the other one that I was thinking of too.
Texas Deathmatch.
Nice. Yep. Tons of great stuff already this year in wrestling. Okay. Let's actually talk about some. Oh, okay. Oh, well, look at that. I'm not the only one in the crew with a long lost child. And Ibu, is that why is he Asian? I'm confused by that. But I mean, it's probably around dinner time. Yeah, I'd say so. I think your dad's at work right now. He's probably listening to this while stocking shelves. So maybe it is dinner time. All right. Thank you for the $1.99 super chat. Regardless, I feel like there's a more efficient way for our children to find us, but at the same time, I'm not going to complain if they keep giving us super chats.
Take your money.
Okay, so let's keep going. Let's talk about some wrestling from this past weekend. I want to get this one out of the way because this is like the only one that I haven't really watched yet, and that is the New Japan Anniversary show. I haven't been able to catch any of the New Japan Cup or the tag title match from yesterday. Have you guys seen I specifically want to talk about the tag title match from yesterday. Have you guys seen this?
I I saw the tag match. I saw one New Japan Cup match, but I've not really watched too much of it.
Murph, did you see the tag title match with Okada and Tanahashi?
Exactly I watched the tag title match. I have not seen any New Japan Cup matches.
Okay, Jamie, run us through this this tag title match. It is Hiroki Goto and Yoshihashi defending at the anniversary show at Ota Ward against Kazuchika Okada and Hiroshi Tanahashi in sort of an all-star match. Take it away.
Yeah, so looking at the two guys who are challenging there, it's like the two biggest stars in New Japan like recent years for a long time as well. And Okada, right, doesn't really go for belts other than the main title, so it's kind of it's a huge thing, especially for the anniversary show as well. And it's excellent. I think it's one of Tanahashi's best outings in a long time. Not to say he's been bad by any means, but just like by his standards, I think this was like really excellent for him. And in terms of Bishamon, I think for Yoshihashi in particular, this is another like really good showing for him, because I think since in the last couple of months and year plus, I think he's really like kind of elevated his stock a lot in New Japan, and I think this is another excellent showing for him. And yeah, I mean, like, the action was great. Like I said, Yoshihashi I think was like a real star performer in here. The two other guys in there are all going to be like, Okada and Tanahashi. You know what you get with those two, hard hitting Okada. And yeah, it was just like a really fun time. One of my favorite tag team matches of the year. I wouldn't put it up at that top level with the All Japan tag like you mentioned, but I think it's like in that conversation for the early part of the year. And yeah, it was just a fun match for the anniversary show.
Nice. Murph, what'd you think about this one?
I loved it. I thought it was a lot of fun. I was starting to get a little bored with the heavyweight champ versus the junior champ at the anniversary show. So I think this was kind of like a nice switch up. Mm-hmm. I really enjoyed this. I really like Bishamon. I think they're a good team. Ever since they beat the freaking Geek, I'm really happy about that. They've been very, very good. And, I think Yoshihashi is one of the most improved guys in the business over the last couple of years. I didn't ever think he was bad, like some said, but he's a lot better now. And Goto's just, a good hand. So, no, I really enjoyed this match. It was a lot of fun.
Nice. So, still first round of the New Japan Cup. We got a long ways to go there. I don't think there's a ton to report so far about the tournament. So, we will move on from New Japan for the moment. But yeah, this match has gotten like really good reception. A lot of people talking about how great it is. So, I'm really looking forward to checking it out when I get a chance. Let's move on to. Oh yes.
Oh, just like the only real in terms of the New Japan Cup, because I've only seen like a small little bit of it. The only thing I checked out on the show, mainly because of the angle, was the David Finlay and Tomohiro Ishii match. David Finlay is now the Bullet Club leader, which a lot of people kind of thought he would be after the White attack, but it wasn't initially confirmed. But I don't know, what do you two kind of think about that one?
I'd have to see it. I like Finlay more than a lot of people. I think I've seen him in great matches. To be honest, it's not really Finlay who I have the problem with. It's just I just don't like Bullet Club matches anymore. Like I don't enjoy, unless you're just like I think kind of a genius at it, like I think Jay White is, or unless you're against some incredible baby face like Tanahashi or Ibushi or Tamatonga. I just don't think they're good. Like I don't like them. So it's good for Finlay. Like good for him. He's a great wrestler. He's worked really hard, in my opinion, to get to his position. But I don't know. I am one of these people who's like kind of over Bullet Club, and frankly, I thought it was going to go to El Phantasmo.
I was hoping it would.
That's what I thought.
What do you think, El Phantasmo kind of expressed his dissatisfaction with this move.
Oh, really?
So
all
tension.
All I'll say is I don't even have to explain. I'll just say this: Prince Devitt, AJ Styles, Kenny Omega, Jay White, David Finlay.
It's like nobody ever thinks that David Finlay's going to win the IWGP World Heavyweight title, right? Like he's just not.
It's just like
he's not that guy.
it's just like at this point, I get Bullet Club apparently still sells merch. I don't see Bullet Club merch in America. Maybe they still do in Japan, but like, come on, like ELP is not on the level of those other guys, but at least ELP is like a guy. David Finlay was like the second most important guy in a tag team that like wasn't like that amazing. Like I just, it's just I think he stinks. Like I'm really not.
I thought he had a good showing in this one. Granted,
I don't think he stinks. Like I've seen him in really great matches. I actually think speaking of Jay White,
think he's not a Bullet Club leader, but I think that's the problem. Who else is going to be?
New Japan Deep Cut that I think is like a great match is Finlay versus Jay White for the IWGP United States title.
Yes,
in Jay White's first defense back in 2018. Like
I remember
that was like a risk to have that as the title match because they were both so fresh.
Good. You're right.
That match was really good. But yeah, Finlay can do. I actually thought so. Okay, talking more about Finlay, I thought he was better than Juice Robinson in his tag team. I'm sorry to Juice. I think Juice, like for whatever reason, kind of like fucking sucked for like the last few years, and I was not like he did like nothing that I cared about. I thought Finlay completely overshadowed him in tag matches just with his energy. Like he's a better athlete than Juice. Juice is, I guess, more charismatic, but I don't really care that much about that. I think the idea behind Bullet Club is less that they're trying to get over. It's that they're a good tool to get it's that they're a good. Sorry, I'm looking at your private chat. You said I don't understand the relevance of it. But Juice is what was I gonna? You completely made me lose my train of thought. But, so the point of Bullet Club is less for them to get over, and it's more to get other people over at this point, right?
It's got people talking about Finlay, right? And no one really was before. So
yeah.
Exactly. I'm not a big fan of this move, but you know I have an open mind. So Finlay, I'm willing to give it time.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what they do. I don't care about Bullet Club anymore. $5 super chat from the custodian BPJ, aka the Riz God. What up, fellas? Stopping by to say hi. Parker, my BFF XOX. Oh, stop it. Jamie, aka Russell Purist, John Morant. He does point lasers at us a lot.
He runs.
And then Murph, my favorite pro-life Trump supporter. Love you, Murph. That's awesome.
I hate this gimmick. I really do.
The gimmick is good.
This is like Keith Bearcat Lee to me. Like, it's just like,
it's not a gimmick.
I hate
First of all, not a gimmick. Second of all, we love the custodian Brian Pillman Jr.
No.
Oh, you mean the Trump supporter gimmick?
I love the custodian BPJ.
No, again, not a gimmick.
That's not a gimmick either.
Yeah, I love the custodian BPJ. I love how I'm painted as this Trump supporter. I don't enjoy this, but whatever.
Not a gimmick. Right. Just renounce all your views, and then we'll move on.
I don't have those views.
Okay, dude. Whatever you say. Not what you told me. All right, let's move on to
BPJ. They misunderstood.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan.
We love the custodian BPJ. He's so loyal. And one day he's going to get to the top AEW. We're going to be
Regal. Yeah. Where's Regal been? I haven't seen Regal in here very often.
So here's my suspicion. A little peek behind the curtain. I think my long lost son might be Regal. And I think which I don't know how that works because Regal's like 30 years older than me. So however that works. But okay, let's talk about Stardom. Let's talk about Stardom. I think this is the best Stardom show that we have gotten all year so far. The Stardom Triangle Derby Finals. This was, I don't even know, where was this at, Jamie? I don't even know.
Yeah.
Was this Yo Yogi?
Yo Yogi. Yeah.
Yeah, this was a great show. Super honestly, not dissimilar from Revolution in that it had just a lot of great, like multiple great matches, like capital G great matches, and nothing on the show that could be considered like bad, right? Just really consistently great wrestling. And it wasn't like a super long show or anything either, but it felt big still because of the stakes and the big time title matches and matchups. So, Jamie, I was a huge fan of the show. Let's start with let's go ahead and start with the singles title matches and the big singles matches. Then we'll conclude by talking about the Derby itself. But Jamie, I'm going to have you kind of lead this part. So take us through. Let's start with the world title.
Yeah, so we'll kick off with the Wonder of Stardom Championship, first singles title on the line. Saya Kamitani going for what is like her 14th, 15th defense. I don't know at this point, a big number. And she's defending against Hazuki. And we talked about this last week previewing the show. We didn't expect the title change because of the imminent challenge from Mina Shirakawa. Right. But this is one of those matches, and a lot of the recent Saya defenses haven't really made me feel like this. But there were points where I started to believe that Hazuki could win, and I think that's that's something that's been lacking just because of like the kind of I don't know, because we've been on this reign for quite a while. But I thought Hazuki was excellent. I love the face wash she does, and she kind of does it every match. I think it always looks pretty brutal. But there's one point where Saya stops her from doing it, and Hazuki just loses her shit. So I thought that was great. And yeah, it was just a really good showing for Hazuki. Someone who I've wanted her to be like elevated into that like top spot for a while. I think she's been ready. I would have liked her to win this match. I think she's like way more ready than Mina is, but yeah. She's been in that tag team division for quite a while. Well, it looks like she's going to get a big match coming soon, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But yeah, just I think one of my favorite defenses from Saya. I think so far. I think what might be the last successful defense. For Saya.
Yeah.
Unless we get a one on like a show. I don't know if there's another show before we get to the next big one, but yeah,
I'm glad that she goes out on an awesome defense like this. Most likely, right? Because actually, I'm looking at the defenses right now. You have to go back. A lot of people really like the Kyrie match, but a lot of people also didn't, including me. You have to go back to like the Starlight Kid defense back in July to find a match that people could argue was like in the same stratosphere as this one. You know what I mean? Like nobody's putting the Momo match, Ami, Sarai, Umasaki, the first Mina match, Himeka, Saki, any of those in this conversation, right? Of greatness. So really glad that we're reminded a little bit. Oh yeah, Saya Kamitani is really good at wrestling.
Yeah,
and she's had the 15 now successful defenses of that title. I agree. Hazuki was great. By the way, Murph, have you been able to catch this show, or are we leaving you out of this one?
Just keep talking.
Okay. So I didn't think this was quite as great as a lot of people did, but I'm very happy that Hazuki gets a big moment. Of course, I'm a huge fan of her as well. Her coming back to wrestling is underratedly like one of my favorite moments, like since the pandemic, I guess.
Yeah.
It was just great. Like Joshi retirements are often forever, even at a very young age. And so for her to come back, I think and just be as good as she's been, like she's easily better now than she was her first run, which is saying something because she was great her first run too. But that was really cool to see. Looking forward, Jamie, I think you're kind of with me on this. I'm really not looking forward to Mina Shirakawa winning this title.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of them. I think I'm not against it, and I think it's there are people I prefer to win it. I think it's more my thing. I think she's improved a lot. We saw with our own awards and the Observer Awards. She's right behind the Acclaimed in that respect in terms of most improved. But again, when you look at some of the people who've challenged for the belt over the course of
that's
this
exactly what I was going to say. Like I have the list in front of me, and out of the 13 people that Saya's defended against, I think only Saki all caps and Unagi Sayaka would I less want to have dethrone Saya compared to everybody else. I mean, you just look at these people like Momo Watanabe and Kyrie and Starlight Kid and Micah and Utami and Natsupoi, and it's like, man, I'd just rather have any of those people be champion. I get Mina's charismatic And I get that she has the built-in story that makes sense, and you want to tell those stories and you want to capitalize on popular wrestlers. But I'm into wrestling for the matches, and she's frankly not on the standard of any of the people I just mentioned.
Yeah, I think it kind of became obvious after the first match. That's what we're getting. So that's been announced for the April 23rd show, which is All Star Grand Queendom at Yokohama Arena, and we've got quite a few matches announced for that card right now, and that it looks like a stacked show.
Let's go over it. Let's make sure to not forget to go over that before we move on from Stardom. But for now, let's talk high speed.
Yeah. So after that, and before we start, the 3 singles title matches on the show, by the way, all super high quality, and I've seen like tons of different people, tons of different opinions on which was like their favorite match.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's good. I think you've got a nice debate on like, people loved each of these
I agree.
matches for different
3
reasons,
great matches, 3 of the best women's matches all year.
Yeah. So this one was a match that we were meant to get earlier in the year, and it's Azumi defending the High Speed Championship against Starlight Kid. One of the best like long-term rivalries in Stardom going right now.
The eternal foes in the
foes,
intro on Stardom World.
Yeah. I thought this was excellent. I don't know if I have it. I don't know where I put it against the previous high speed title defense between these two, but I think both are amazing.
It will not get the same accolades because the first one got the observer attention, and it was a lot of people's, I think, first real exposure to Azumi and Starlight Kid. But for my money, this was easily just as quality as the first one.
Yeah. I saw some people saying like in the early portion of the match that it wasn't giving them the same kind of I don't know, it wasn't hitting like the first one. But I think by the end, I think people had kind of I think they've won a lot of people over, and I think eventually it did certainly hit that level. And these two, this high speed style, you couldn't think of 2 better people on the roster to kind of deliver on that kind of level. So yeah, and with Azumi's next big match looking like it's going to be with Mercedes Moné, I think this was a really great showing for people who maybe were tuned in trying to get a glimpse of what Azumi's all about.
So let's then move on to what I thought was actually the best match on this show, which was the world title match between Julia. Okay, not an Ice Ribbon match, guys. Believe it or not, this took place in World Wondering Stardom. Julia defending the World of Stardom Championship against Maya Yukihi. Jamie, take it away.
I love this match. I would agree. This is my favorite match on the show. Julia comes out with a table because she's a beast. And yeah, I think this match gave me like classic like All Japan Joshi vibes, just that hard hitting kind of sense of it. I think you see a lot of influence of that in Julia's game. I think back to like her match with Mayu when she kind of hits the suplex, kind of like identical to the the Akira Hokuto and Manami Toyota match. And yeah, that's just super hard hitting. There's one table spot that kind of had me like, oh shit, I think it's Maya drops Julia like right on the edge of the table, and
that was crazy. Oh man, you got Lady C on commentary like doing a shoot scream. She's like, ah! It was so great. It was awesome.
Those Japanese tables, man. So sometimes they don't break as easily as those American ones, but.
This match was fucking gnarly. This match was awesome. It was just nasty. You really got, you got some of that relationship between the Julia and the Suzu match, but really the reality is they don't have that much history together. They were in Ice Ribbon together for total probably about a year, right? Maybe a little bit longer, but Suzu was essentially a trainee for much of that. So not really that much history there, and Suzu wasn't pushed to any real extent until right as Julia was leaving the promotion too. So while they have history, it's not the level of this one where Yukihi comes in just a little bit before Julia does, and she's winning everything. She's the golden girl. She's the heir apparent to Tsukasa Fujimoto in Ice Ribbon. She's the world championship. She's main eventing the Ice Ribbon Yokohama show every year, right? And so you get this reversal of courses. Mayukihi stays in Ice Ribbon, then she ends up leaving, and she hasn't really found a landing spot since then. Julia, meanwhile, is Stardom's top star right now. She is their top wrestler. She's their world champion, and even if she wasn't their world champion, she'd probably still be their top star. And just the hatred in this match was so great. Like, these two wanted to beat the shit out of each other. They were not worried about that title. They just wanted to fight. It was awesome. I am usually not a fan of screwy finishes. But for me, I was like, whew, man, that was fun. When it was over, you know what I mean?
I thought it made absolute sense for this match. You know, you just said, like, these two just hate each other. And, you know, I was kind of explaining it to Ibu in the Rest Purist chat, who didn't really, like, get what was going on here. He was like, oh, why did that happen? And I was basically saying, like, if you know, the press conference, Mayuki, he was like, I don't give a shit about the belt. So, you know, she just wanted to keep fighting Julia on the outside. So I thought it made perfect sense. And yeah, after this match, we got the next challenger. And we're kind of continuing the theme of kind of ghosts of Julia's past coming back for her a little bit. We had Suzu and Mayuki from Ice Ribbon. And the next challenger is looking like it's going to be Tam Nakano. Probably you'd say Julia's biggest rival, undoubtedly, in Stardom. And yeah, she comes out after the match and she just stands there on the ramp for a bit. I was like, what she do? I thought she was going to stay there and, like, stare her down, and then she comes down to the ring. But yeah, so I'm fired up for that one. That's another one that's going to be on this this April card, which is looking like really stacked.
You guys gotta check this one out if you haven't. Each of those last three, you know, those three singles title matches, I think were great. I'd probably go world title, wonder title, high speed in that order, but it's like either of those three would have been the best match on most Joshi shows this year. So great job from all those women. Mavs fan 84 $1.99 super chat. Yukihi, top freelancer right now. She's really good. I can't think of anyone else. Like so there's some people who are, like, sort of, you know, by definition freelancers, like Nanai and you and people like that who you know, who aren't signed most likely, but are essentially, they're Stardom wrestlers, right?
Yeah.
And all but name. They don't really spend that much time outside of Stardom. So, yeah, I'd say so. If you're looking at, like, a true free agent who doesn't have a home, I'd have to go Maya Yukihi.
Yeah, I tend to agree. I think, like, you know, yeah, you look at the current, like, Stardom champions and stuff. You got a few freelancers holding belts and stuff. And it's like they're on most Stardom shows. Like I said, you know, Neo Stardom Army and Prominence as well. A lot of people have, like, Suzuki really high up on there, but she feels like a regular on Stardom shows. So yeah, in terms of people who are, like, actually freelance, appear pretty much everywhere, I'd say you'd be hard pressed to find someone more consistent than Mayuki.
Couple short things to talk about before we get into the main event of this show, what it ended up being. I'm first just going to briefly touch on Chihiro Hashimoto versus Himeka. Himeka, of course, is going to retire in the next month or so. This was one of her requested final opponents, was Chihiro Hashimoto. Hashimoto beats her in 8 minutes. I didn't think the match was anything crazy. It was good for what it was, though. But it was just nice to see Himeka have this match before she leaves.
Yeah, I enjoyed this one. Nothing, like, crazy to write home about, but just a nice moment.
I don't want to get super into these matches, but the semifinals of the Triangle Derby, the two winners were God's Eye defeating Cosmic Angels in the first one, and then Prominence defeating Neo Stardom Army in the second one. I somehow picked both of those wrong in the preview show last week, so that was kind of remarkable. But I guess I didn't consider the possibility that they'd make the main event just an Artists of Stardom title match.
Yeah, I think we both went for Neo Stardom Army, right, when we did our predictions.
In that match, yeah.
You know, whenever you have these champions get into the, you know, the last stages of these tournaments, I think everyone pretty much goes with the other opponent, right? Because, you know, it's a rare thing for them to do. But I enjoyed it. I didn't expect it, and I thought it was good. So yeah.
So the main event was Prominence defending the Artists of Stardom championships against God's Eye. This was a really solid main event. I thought everyone worked really hard, and then we did get these I thought there were two like sort of pairings that had really good chemistry, which were Shuri and Risa Sera, who we of course know from last year, and then Mirai and Suzu Suzuki, who again also last year had a big match. Those two pairings paired off respectively, gave us some pretty good stuff. It was a fun closing sequence too between Suzu and Mirai at the very end, with Suzu getting the victory and retaining the titles.
Yeah, another big moment for prominence in Stardom. The second back to back Stardom pay-per-view main events for Suzu Suzuki, which if she's not signed yet, like come on, Rossi, what are we waiting for?
I'm not sure what more they could do.
Yeah, I know. Unless they just put the red belt on her next, which like with Julia being the champion, I wouldn't even rule that out as like her being the next one up. I guess it kind of makes storyline sense. But fun match. Wasn't like at that top quality like the previous three matches were, but I think you kind of get that. Yeah, that's kind of been the case with the Triangle Derby as a whole. None of the matches have been like that super top quality. But the Triangle Derby is now over. So Stardom,
I'm so glad we're past it. It was so long. 2 months.
Yeah,
forever.
Like early January. We're just getting into March and it's over. I think they need like some I don't know how they do it, but some kind of format change to kind of make it feel less. It's dominated the early like 2 months of the year, and it's not really delivered on the match quality front. But now that we're over with the Triangle Derby, I think we're going to get back to that consistency on these shows. We've got some big shows lined up, and I want to quickly touch on the matches we have announced for this April card. We'll run it down in more detail when we get nearer the time. But so like we said, matches we already talked about a little bit. We got Tam challenging Julia for the World of Stardom Championship, and we got Mina Shirakawa challenging Sai Kamatani for the Wonder of Stardom Championship. I don't expect a title change in the world, but I think it's almost nailed on now that Mina's going to be winning that white belt. We have the retirement match for Himeka. I think we picked a pretty perfect opponent because she's going out against Maika, long-time tag team partner.
That's only who it could ever have been. It's the right choice.
Yeah, and that's going to be an emotional one. We have a actual retirement ceremony planned a few weeks after that, but this is the last match we're getting. I think it's a pretty perfect choice. We have I think what else have we got on there? We have huge match. We have Shuri finally facing off with Chihiro Hashimoto. This was like officially set up
big one.
after the Himeka match. That's going to be insane. Trying to think if we have anything officially announced. There are a few other like rumored matches. So
I mean Saki Kashima, or is that
that's not for this show. That is for that's happening before this show.
Okay.
There's an IWGP Women's Championship.
Oh, right.
It's not announced yet, but it's highly likely to be Mayu Iwatani based on Observer reports and stuff. Well, also,
in the meantime,
the high speed match I was meant to mention. So obviously, touched on that Azumi will be challenging. It looks like she'll be challenging Mercedes Moné for that IWGP Women's title at Sakura Genesis in early April. There was a Stardom press conference this morning for like Cinderella shows and the upcoming New Blood show, and Hazuki was like, "I want in." She's going to be in that. They're going to make it a triple threat. It was quite funny. I was watching like a translation of it. Hazuki was like, "But we've already made the match," and Hazuki was like, "She's not even acknowledged it yet." So I'm in. So yeah, that looks like it's going to be happening, and that's nice. We just had a big showing for Hazuki, so it's nice that they're keeping the focus on like a main event kind of position. I think it'll be a big showing for those two.
Will Cinderella finals be on this show? When will
Cinderella finals? We have the whole Cinderella like opening card now. We'll run that down a bit closer to the time. I can't remember when the finals is, but it's not.
I'm just trying to think. Like, there is nobody on this roster who's like jumping off the page at me as somebody who's gonna win Cinderella. Like maybe Natsupoi. That was kind of
possibly. I think the thing with the Cinderella is I think because the 5-star GP is kind of that's your world title tournament. Whilst it's not explicitly stated, the Cinderella tournament is kind of like the white belt tournament.
Right.
I guess. that's kind of what they've been going for in recent years. And because we're like pretty much nailed on to be getting a Mina title win, whoever wins the Cinderella tournament, unless they're doing a short reign, like I don't see them beating Mina.
They'll take on Mina. Yeah, we can be pretty confident about that.
So in terms of like, I'm not too sure on who's going to win, but I think we'll be setting up. I think it could be Natsupoi, and I think it could be. I think that could work, particularly if Mina splits off from Cosmic Angels, which it looks like she might be doing.
I'll pick Natsupoi for that, but we'll see. I haven't even seen like matchups or anything, but
we have
I don't even know if we need to necessarily run down them, but maybe we'll just.
There's two unannounced names so far.
Right.
That's fine. So it'll be interesting to see who those are. But yeah, we'll get to that closer to the time.
All right. Thank you for bearing with us, Murph, as we talked about Stardom. That's gonna close out Stardom talk for today.
You guys love Stardom. I'm not the biggest Stardom guy, but you guys talk about Stardom better than anyone in the business.
Okay, couple things we want to touch on before we get to Beast of the Week this week. I first want to talk about Hiromu's New Japan, co-produced All-Star Junior Festival, which was last Wednesday at Korakuen Hall, featuring junior wrestlers from literally like 20 different promotions across Japan. Just tons of first-time interactions and matchups and all that type of stuff. I don't think we need to go, line by line, card by card on it, but I do want to highlight a few matches. First, we'll talk about the opener: Hiromu Takahashi, Amakusa, and Fujita Jr. Hayato versus Yamato, Hayata, and Kazushi Hashimoto of Big Japan. I thought this was the best match on the show to open things up, and oh my god, Fujita Jr. Hayato is so fucking crazy.
He's the man.
He's just a monster out there. He's just killing. I was like, so it's like weird that it's like I was like, oh, it's weird that Kazushi Hashimoto is in this match. Like, I guess they need someone to take a pin, but I don't know. And then I was like, and then the match happened and he's taking all these shoot headbutts. And I'm like, oh, I see why he's in this match. He's there to take headbutts, which he did very well, to his credit.
Headbutts like the best in the business.
Yeah, he did exactly what he was expected to do. But really, I mean, I think it's remarkable that in a match that contained the junior champs of both New Japan and Noah and Yamato, that
the man
Fujita Jr. Hayato was able to stand out as easily, I think, the most exhilarating, exciting wrestler in the match. I think that's such a testament to his talent. I would love to see him out of fucking Michinoku Pro that nobody cares about. Just like getting brain damage in front of. Actually, they actually do like decent attendance, but it's so regional and they have no Western international presence at all.
It's like how people talk about Dragon Gate being like a local Japanese promotion that like doesn't get it. Like it's like Dragon Gate's huge compared to Michinoku Pro. Like Michinoku Pro is literally just a regional like a local promotion, basically.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm just excited at Hiromu and Fujita have talked a lot about having a potential match. Also, notably, Keno was on commentary here. He has also talked, or I believe actually Fujita has talked about wrestling Keno, which would be awesome. I would love that.
Seeing Keno face anyone not from Noah is always awesome.
Yes. So anyway, I thought this match was great. It was the perfect way to kick off, and it really just got the party started in what was kind of a party atmosphere all show.
My favorite match was probably not a surprise to many. It was the three-way tag team match between El Desperado and Volador Jr. versus El Lindaman and Yuki Ueno versus Las Japones del Mal, Duki and Hanaoka. I'm a big Daisuke Hanaoka fan. A lot of people know. I'm a big secret-based watcher. But, I really enjoyed this match. It was a lucha-style tag, and that was my personal favorite match in the show.
Yeah. I think my favorite match will probably be the trios match we already talked about, but I'll throw another one in there. I really enjoyed the 5-way.
That was my other one.
Okay.
Yep.
I remember everyone who was in there. Our boy Ninja Mac was in there. Shun Skywalker.
He was so awesome too.
Oh yeah,
Ninja Mac. Oh my god, he does that Phoenix 630 and he just splats on the mat, and it's like, man, you're the best. You do.
No, he's a friend of the show. Always love to see him do well.
Yeah, I was so happy to see that. But Soberano, we reviewed some Fantastica Mania stuff last week, and I put over Soberano as I think he was the best wrestler on the tour, which is saying something with a lot of great wrestlers on the tour. And he's just he is so unbelievably athletic and explosive, and he's like a train wreck out there. He's like bigger Darby out there. He's just leaving carnage in his wake when he's out there. And
I love Fantastica Mania so far every year because it's the one week people remember about CMLL. Like like people like us, we watch CMLL like
we actually watch CMLL. Yeah.
But like everyone else in the world remembers about CMLL this one week and remembers how good these guys are. And then they go back to being the hermits they are. But
I didn't watch everything.
I only watched.
Might have been the best Fantastica Mania yet, which is saying something because there's been some good tours.
No, because CMLL is great right now. Their guys are like they've had a generational shift and it's really enjoyable right now.
I love people being like CMLL was so bad during the pandemic. It's like, well, you're telling me a promotion that is good because of its incredible atmosphere, because they literally own Arena Mexico, struggled during the pandemic to make exciting matches.
Number one, there's no fucking chance you watch CMLL during the pandemic.
Yeah, don't lie to me.
What?
No, I know I'm not you. No, just I'm talking. I'm backing you up.
Yeah, there's no chance. Like there's no chance you watch CMLL during the pandemic. Outside of that, like that one Volador Bandito match, and like outside of that, I don't think you watched. Like I think that was just a talking point for a while.
They just saw Lucha Blog tweet it once, and they were like, "Yeah, I agree."
Honestly, in my opinion, I think it was people getting the heat off WWE. They're like, WWE is actually not the worst promotion. It's CMLL. Like, so that was really the big thing. So yeah, CMLL guys are awesome. Soberano, Mystico, all the guys in there, I love it.
The other match that I thought was really good on this one was the main event, Master Wato and Atsuki Aoyagi. I loved Atsuki being able to like wrestle heel. Like it was completely unexpected.
So rare.
But because he's such a babyface in All Japan, but this was obviously a very pro New Japan crowd, and he leaned into that perfectly. I thought Master Wato, he is somebody who's, if we're talking about actual improvement, he is actually
when he stopped being weird going with like Tenzan and like Taguchi.
So New Japan does this shit when they bring people back from excursion and they give them like some wacky weird gimmick. Like they did it with like Evil, they did it with Okan, and they're like a fucking cartoon character when they come back.
That's the one thing
they did it with Switchblade. Remember he was like actually like that's where he got the knife pervert nickname.
No, Dragon Gate. Dragon Gate is like, brings these guys, immediately makes them like guys. But New Japan gives them hokey shit. Like, other than Hiromu coming back, I don't think they've done like well with anybody in the first like initial couple months. Like since like
I thought like Sho and Yo did pretty well.
Sho and Yo did well. They won Roppongi 3K. That's a good shout. Like Hiromu, Hiromu, Sho and Yo have really been the only ones off the top of my head. And Ren. Ren
I was gonna say Ren's been good, but he's just he's sort of been half in, half out for a while too. Yeah. So anyway, it was really nice to see Wato and Atsuki Aoyagi, who are not like one guy's a junior in All Japan, which is not a super high profile promotion right now. The other guy is maybe not one of the top 5 guys in the division in New Japan. And they got the main event of this show because they were the singles match, and I thought they lived up to that expectation. In a big time show.
It did a great number. Yeah, this show, it was a great show.
Really, really just fun show overall.
It was like my kind of wrestling. Just give me like.
It gave me vibes of like a Toryumon reunion from last year.
I agree. Yes, that's perfect. That was my exact thing I was going to say.
Just another thing to mention before we move on from this. Rocky Romero popped up midway through the show.
Yeah.
Like, hey guys, what do you think about bringing this to America? So it looks like we could be getting, and he said, this year is also, it looks like some point throughout.
You see, that doesn't get me excited because I just know they're going to put like shitters on it, like Blake Christian. It's like Blake Christian's going to be like a high profile. Cole Radrick. I mean,
they'll put Yuta on it. Cole Radrick will not be on it. They'll put Yuta on it. They'll put Alex Zane.
Yeah.
They'll put Ace Austin and Chris Bay.
Give me that. Yeah.
They'll put more luchadors. We'll get they'll put. Well, they won't do AAA guys. No. Maybe they'll do indie guy. Maybe
I'm telling you, Parker, this is not going to be as good as the Japanese one.
Of course, it's not going to be good as the Japanese one. There's nobody in America who's Fujita Junior Hayato right now. Okay,
no, but
it's not.
Just the idea, it ain't broke. Don't fix it. Just do another one in Japan.
It's gonna be good. I trust in Rocky. I trust
when they trot Blake Christian out there, and I can't think of any other shitters but Blake Christian, who's the ultimate shitter.
They could get a handful of you could see possibly.
They're gonna bring out Impact guys. Fuck.
What about Adam Brooks? Or dude,
they're gonna trot out Steve Macklin.
What if they get Michael Oku? And Steve Macklin's not a junior. Steve Macklin's 250 pounds.
That shows how much Steve Macklin I'm watching.
Steve Macklin's good. I can't believe I just said that. All right, let's move on to talk about a little bit of Dragon Gate, because Jamie did the catch up, and I watched all the big title matches and the Rey de Parejas semis and finals.
Let me start.
Murph, the winners of the Rey de Parejas.
So first, I just want to talk about the Rey de Parejas show real quick. I thought this was one of my favorite Corkins in a while. I really, really enjoyed this show.
I did not watch anything except the semis and finals.
So I'll just gloss over real quick. So really the highlights were the first two matches, which I thought were great. I'm going to call this show the Madoka Kikita Corkin. This was his show. He was on fire. He was the highlight of the first match, which he won over him and Yuki Yoshioka won over Kai and Shun Skywalker. Madoka Kikita pinning Kai. And then in the second match, it was Susumu and Kanda, who came out to the Jimmy's theme, which got me pumped. They came out to the Jimmy's theme for the match, which was really huge for me. And they faced Gold Class, who's the main characters of Dragon Gate this year. The team of Kota Minoura and BB Hulk. I liked most of those matches. They were good matches. But this main event, and I know Parker's was not as high on it as me, but oh my God. This match is why I'm a Dragon Gate fan, because you have these two young guys in Madoka Kikita, who's really on the come up, and Yuki Yoshioka, who's Open the Dream Gate champion, versus Susumu Mochizuki, who's literally the most consistent wrestler of all time, and Yasushi Kanda, who's washed. He's completely washed. It's undeniable that Yasushi Kanda is completely washed. But you see, for this, I think it was 20 minutes, Yasushi Kanda pulled it back. He did a Tornado de Acapulco. And oh my God, I didn't want this match to end. Oh my God. Madoka Kikita and Yuki Yoshioka ended up getting the win. But oh my God, this match was tremendous. I'm going to be thinking about this match for a very, very long time.
I did not think this match was that good. I thought this match, I gave it 3 1/4. I was bored as shit for a lot of it.
Quarter?
Yes. Yeah, I don't know. It's just it was boring, dude. It's fucking Yasushi Kanda main eventing Korakuen in 2023. There were so many awesome teams in this tournament, and you had Kanda and fucking BB Hulk in the semis. And then this it was the closing stretch was pretty good. It was whoa, Kanda hit the thing. And then Jay's all excited on commentary. And I'm like, okay, that's cool, I guess. It reminded me of when he got really excited about Kness, and I was like, okay. But yeah, I don't know. It was fucking boring, dude. The first part, the last part was good. I liked the closing stretch. It wasn't bad. It just started really boring, and it was long too. It was 25 minutes. So it was a bit much for me.
Hold on.
You go.
Go ahead, Jamie.
I'm probably somewhere in between you two. I don't think it was bored. I wasn't bored. I had a lot of fun with this. I also don't think it's in my top 5 matches of the year like Murph does. I really liked Kikuta. As someone who doesn't watch a ton of Dragon Gate, I think he's the guy who kind of stood out to me the most in this match. And I've seen a lot of Yuki Yoshioka, so I'm more familiar with him. So I guess I was kind of looking at the guys I wasn't too for me, but I thought he had a really great showing. Myth, where's he like kind of pegged at in Dragon Gate? Because I wasn't sure.
Who made
He's
over
not a guy I've
Kano?
seen- Yeah,
So basically, he was the youngest Dreamgate challenger of all time when he was a heel
Right.
under Red, but he had a very bad injury and was out for a year. And really, he was like kind of treading water for a bit. He was Twin Gate champion, but then he had a match with Shingo at Final Gate last year, which was like his career-defining match. Like him and Shingo was like he really showed out. And then like he's really, I thought he was tremendous on this show, but. This is the first time in, I believe, like the 18 weeks we've been doing this podcast where I'm speechless. I thought Parkour was going to love this match. I was like, I was so excited to like go crazy about it on the podcast. And now I'm like, what? 3 1/4.
I'm sorry, buddy. Sometimes I just don't like the same things you do. I also think we were talking about this a little bit earlier. I think Dragon Gate has like not been that good for like over a year. I just don't. They just like when I think of Dragon Gate, I think of just great matches, and that's like the first thing I think about. And they've inverted that. They're like so far up into the storytelling, like even more than they were beforehand. Like they're all about storytelling now, all about the turns, back and forth, stables, people changing, people, being elevated and de-elevated, right, and all that type of stuff. And I'm just like, bro, like give me like classic wrestling matches, because I know there are people on the roster who can do it. You have Yamato, you have Shun, you have
I think we just disagree on what we look for in classic wrestling matches. Really, the thing. Like,
no, I don't think we disagree on that at all. I think we agree on 97% of all great wrestling matches. But when was the last time you saw like a legit like slam dunk match of the year contender from Dragon Gate? Because for me, it's been almost 2 years. It's been since Kobe World 2020.
I would go, if you're not counting yesterday, I'd go Yoshioka and Mochizuki.
Okay. That match was really good, but I don't think it would have been in like my top 50 of last year. You know what I mean?
I would go with Kai and Susumu.
Again, same deal. It was a great
match. I would go
match.
with the Kness match. I would go with the Twin Gate match from Kobe World last year.
Yeah, see, I was wondering why you didn't say that, but
yeah, like I was like the match that like I thought got universal like.
But again, if that's the one, that's like, which I disagree with, but I'm fine being in the minority there. I thought that match was really technically and athletically exhilarating, and it was in front of a cavernous, silent crowd. But like aside from that, that's like one match in a span of over 18 months. Like, I expect better. If you're gonna be considered one of the best promotions in Japan, you need to have one of those every couple months minimum. Noah does, New Japan does, Stardom does, All Japan does. Dragon Gate does not, in my opinion.
How I'll respond to that is I think we disagree on the Dragon Gate match quality, really. But the thing I'll say to your thing is the Dragon Gate's currently in a generational shift to a point where they're trying to get the young guys over and really make them the point of the promotion. I think those incredible matches are coming. But I think really the stories are the focus right now because they're trying to build up these guys because they want to make this company the future, and they need to give these guys personality. So I'm just going to agree to disagree here.
Okay. Yeah, the other thing is I think I get the sense that like 90% of the roster is fucking mid-carders right now. Like they have this gigantic mid-card and they have like 3 main eventers on the whole roster. It's like Shun, it's Yoshioka, and it's like Benkei. And everybody else is a fucking mid-carder right now. You know, but do you get how I could like get that perception? How there's very little structure from like top tier, upper mid-card, solid mid-card, lower, jobbers, all that type of stuff. I feel like just about everybody can be like there's just the excitement's in like a cool finish, or that when somebody's surprising wins, right? When somebody's like,
I think what we disagree on is that one thing that Dragon Gate fans love is how anybody can win any match and anybody can lose any match, and I think you don't like that, and I do.
See, I don't even think I disagree with that. Like Noah does that. You know what I mean? Noah's
like nonsensical. I feel like I feel like it can be I feel like in Dragon Gate, most people are on the same level, so it leads to unpredictability. And I think I like that, and I think you don't like. I think that's just what.
Yeah, I could see that. I just think, I think it should be more predictable. You know what I mean? I think because in the bit, even though Noah can be sometimes like unpredictable in the very big stuff, it's never like it doesn't feel random, if that makes sense. Like it always feels like they have some kind of intentionality behind it. A lot of times in Dragon Gate, it feels random. Like to me, it felt fucking random that this M3K team was in the finals of the tag tournament that had all these great teams in it. I don't think it was random, but it's like, are they going to go somewhere? Are they going to push Yasushi Kanda this year? Like, I don't like. What's the point?
I think they're just giving the old guys, like, I think they're catering that crowd. They have three.
That is kind of random because you could have picked Hulk, and you could have had Don Fuji do it.
They had 2.5 of the teams, basically. We'll say 2.5 of the teams in the last 4 were old guy teams. 2.5, I'll say. Were young guy teams. Sorry, excuse me. 2.5 were young guy teams. I think they were playing to that other part of the audience with that other 1.5. I think we're just disagreeing there.
I need them to do a King of Gate that's round robin with like 8 to 10 wrestlers in each, where some people finish with like 4 points and some people finish with like 14, because I need some structure to this roster, and I need like someone to be like why the fuck, like, I'm sorry, Murph, why is Strong Machine J wrestling for the Open the Dream Gate title? This is the full extent. I said this in the chat. Listen, everybody, this is the full extent of every single wrestler on the roster. Strong Machine J has pinned in a singles match in his entire career that was not a trainee. Ho Ho Lun. That's the full list. And he's challenging for the Dream Gate at he challenged for the Dream Gate at Champion Gate. Shun in a tag, but it's like, so you're telling me that it would be like chill if in New Japan we had some like, who's like what if just like out of nowhere, like Phantasmo pinned Okada, and we got Okada versus even Phantasmo's higher push. That's even a bad example. Someone like, I don't know. I can't even think, like if like Desperado or someone like that.
I mean, Dragon Gate's not a promotion. I mean, Strong Machine J is a guy who just came back from an injury last year and just came to this. He's been very great in tag matches, and I think
I know he's been great.
With literally a C tier show, giving him the main event of a C tier show. I don't see the problem with that. I don't.
It would be like Atsuki Aoyagi like pinning Kento and getting a world title match, or
that's not even close. The Strong Machine J, I believe, wasn't he Twin Gate champion?
Yeah, Atsuki Aoyagi's been All Asia champion.
Yeah, Twin Gate. The main tag team championship is equal to the shitter tag team championship in All Japan. Yes, it is.
Okay. How dare you? How dare you? First of all, anyway, and the reason I'm like, if it was TJPW, I'd be like, who cares? You know what I mean? But I really like Dragon Gate. I like the promotion, and I want, because you know me, and we have similar tastes in the fact we both love Japanese wrestling, and we both fucking love Lucha Libre. And Dragon Gate is by far the institution that has combined the two, the best in wrestling history. And so I want it to be better. I just feel like even like the top matches, I just feel like people like hold back sometimes. You know what I mean? I just feel like they're not giving it their, maybe I'm overestimating how good I think some people are based on my own perception, but sometimes I'm just like,
I just want to ask, who do you think holds back?
I just feel like outside of Dreamgate stuff, I'm not getting people's best performances. Like the main event, like the Triangle Gate main event. Like, first of all, why is it those teams in like wrestling for the Triangle Gate? Like, you have all these talented people, and I get you're trying to get people over, but like maybe give it a little bit of time to like build people up. You know what I mean?
I think they just want Kota Minoura.
Hulk and fucking Kanda, dude. BB Hulk and Kanda are main eventing Champion Gate.
I agree with Kanda to an extent. Kanda, I agree. Kanda, I thought was good on the tag tournament, but it should. I agree. I disagree with Kanda on that team. BB Hulk, I think you're completely wrong with, because BB Hulk is solely there to get Kota Minoura over, and it is working. So I don't.
Is it?
Yes, it's working.
Are you sure about that?
I'm pretty sure about that. Yes.
We'll see. We'll see how they book Minoura in King of Gate this year. We'll see what happens.
Okay. As long as they don't turn the lights off in the middle of it with a midget, I think it'll be perfectly fine.
Well, as we've seen, we can't put that past him, I suppose. Also, I thought it was very funny that Minoru and Minorita did not team together in Rey de Parejas. Like, why? Like, it's literally Minorita.
Separate them, which is kind of
ridiculous.
His
name is Minorita.
But since Minorita was Bravegate champion, they want to like see him as his own guy because he's very popular. He's like one of the top merch sellers on the roster.
Regardless, I want Dragon Gate to be better. I want those.
Can we fly through?
I don't know.
It's championship matches real quick. 4.
Yeah, we'll talk about it. I'm just saying, like, it just straight up does not feel remotely like. I can understand it not feeling the same, but it doesn't feel remotely the same as with Shingo and Shima and Doi and Yoshino and Yamato and all those guys, and T-Hawk as your top guys, right? So okay,
most of those guys are gone, and you have to build up these new guys, and you just have to give them some time.
And I get that, but it's been 5 years, so it's like why doesn't it feel better? Like Shun and Yoshioka have lived up to it. I'm not sure anybody else has really truly stepped up to that.
You don't think Dragon Dai lived up to it?
I mean, he's like Jason Lee. He's like a good mid-card, like good wrestler, but he's not who I'm. No, he's not the main event. One of those. He doesn't. As it stands right now, I don't see him becoming one of those on the level of the guys that I just mentioned. No,
okay.
But we'll see. They got time. All right, let's talk about these championship matches. I don't want to go super in depth in Brave Gate and Triangle Gate because I frankly just thought the matches were like they were good, but I didn't think they were spectacular or anything. Jason Lee did win the Brave Gate title.
Very excited about
from Minorita, which I'm excited about too because I very much like Jason Lee as you do.
Jason Lee fan.
And then in the main event of that show, it was champions retained. Right? Did I make that up?
Yeah.
Okay. The gold class team of what is it?
Ben K,
BB Hulk, and Minoru retained the Triangle Gate titles. So that was that.
I really like this gold class team a lot. I think gold class was pretty shit for the most of last year. But I mean, adding Ben K was like the game changer for Ben K.
Yeah, Ben K's been.
I will say, I think you're forgetting Ben K. I think Ben K can be a top guy. I feel like you left him.
Yeah,
out.
no, that's a good point. I just considered him a bit before the guys that I just mentioned. Like he was around when those guys were around to a certain extent. You know what I mean? But yeah.
No, but I think Ben K can be a top guy. I think he's really.
Yeah, I agree. I like Ben K.
Yeah, he got charismatic like out of nowhere. He went from being
he's a shapeshifter. He went from
being a brick, like an absolute brick, to being the most charismatic guy in the promotion in like a week. It was like
he just oiled himself up, got literal chains, and got sick gold class theme music, and now he's where he needs to be. Then on night 2 of Champion Gate, we had this was, I thought, the best show of the 3 that we're talking about. I only watched the main matches.
The undercard for this was not that great at all. But
I thought the semi-main and the main were both quite good.
The Twin Gate was
my favorite match on the tour was the Twin Gate match between KZ and Big Boss Shimizu. They defended against the Rey de Parejas champions Yuki Yoshioka and Maruka Kikuta. I'm so glad that they're back in Japan.
I'm a big fan of the Big Time. I love the Big Time.
Yeah, Big Time is a great team, and I'm glad they retained. I actually did not think they were going to. And so I was really glad they retained here in a really good match. Very hard hitting at the end. And Natural Vibes just have this energy around them, like when they have the seconds out there and the whole stable, and they're able to just react so emotively to everything that it just makes the matches really entertaining. So I thought this was the best match on the tour.
Of the Champion Gate shows, I agree. I really like the Rey de Parejas final, which you saw. But no, of course. I thought he did very good. I thought the matches was great. Maruka Kikuta kept going. I mean, he's really just on fire. But the Big Time is a great tag team.
Jamie, did you like this match? Yeah.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. Maruka Kikuta is the guy who like impressed me the most over this kind of tour that I watched. As someone who doesn't watch like a ton of Dragon Gate, he's someone I'm looking forward to watching a bit more of. I think I slightly preferred the Rey de Parejas final to this one, but I think it's quite close. But yeah, I enjoyed it. I'm a big fan of KZ. Everything I've seen of KZ is I like him a lot. So yeah, this was a fun tag match.
All right. Then we had, as mentioned earlier, Shun Skywalker defending the Open the Dreamgate Championship against Strong Machine Jay in the biggest match of Jay's life. I thought this was really good for the most part. I didn't think it was like blow away excellent or anything like that.
I agree.
There was a lot of Shun Zebrats like bullshit in this one, like tons of heat, ref bumps, chair shots, all this type of stuff. But I did think this match did a really good job putting Jay over as a bigger threat in the future. Yes. He had Shun beat at a couple moments, or very close to beat, which I think is what you do to get somebody over. And then it was just Shun escaping with like a big jackknife pin, using his superior size to get the victory and walk out with the championship. But Murph, what do you think of this one?
I don't have too much to say on this. I thought it was exactly what it needed to do. I didn't think that, it's Champion Gate. It was Big Boss Shimizu was the guy last year. I mean, Big Boss Shimizu is a little better than Strong Machine Jay, but I don't think it's too far off in a singles capacity. But no, I think this did its job. I mean, also like Takashi Yoshida challenged for the title last year. So I mean, I'm probably doing worse things for Dragon Gate than intended. But Strong Machine Jay, I think he is really gonna be great. He's the break dancer. I love him. He's a great wrestler. But I like Dragon Gate. I like Strong Machine Jay. Shun needed a big title defense, and his next title defense is at Dead or Alive. I don't think we know who it is yet, but we'll probably learn on the next Corkin. But I real quick before we finish our Dragon Gate talk, I would like to shout out Daiki Yanaguchi, who actually made his debut on the last Corkin.
Is that the Corkin worker?
Yes. So he actually worked at Corkin, and he was actually rejected from the Dragon Gate dojo twice, which is he somehow still made it there. So shout out to Daiki.
All right, everybody, we're gonna close it out here with our beasts of the week. Where's the thing? Boom!
Wow.
Boom. Look at that beast of the week. There are a lot of candidates over this past week of people who could be beasts. Jamie, kick us off here. Who's going to be your beast of the week?
Going first. I've got tough decisions to make. Yeah, I mean, we could talk about names there from AEW, Stardom, Junior Festival, Dragon Gate. Tough one. Okay, I think I'm gonna go with someone. He wasn't in one of the top quality matches that happened this weekend. Someone I'd like to give I want to put over again. So my beast of the week is Fujita Junior Hayato.
Oh man, god dang it! I don't believe it.
He's someone if you're not, he's like a really inspirational story. He had like a spinal tumor, and he recently came back to the ring. Which a lot of people it wouldn't be too inconceivable to a lot of people thought he probably wouldn't. But he came back and killing it in Michinoku Pro, and this was like a real big showcase for him. Like you said, it wrestles in a promotion that not too many people ever really give the time of day. And I just thought he was like you said on a match with Amakise and Hiromu, and this is like Hiromu's show. He was the guy in that match that really stood out more than anyone. So yeah, I'm gonna give it to Fujita Junior Hayato. He's my beast of the week.
I was gonna pick him. Damn you, Jamie. This is what happens when I turn it off to you first. But I think I'm gonna go with somebody who was also on that show. Who I think okay, when you say a beast, I think you're thinking of somebody who's they might not have it doesn't necessarily directly correlate to best wrestler, right? But it's just someone who's just does awesome shit, or it's just really generally cool, or it's just someone who you I watch him and I'm a fan of him, right? So I'm going to go with somebody else on that show. I put him over earlier, but I'm going to go with Soberano Jr. I think he's just so unique and exciting as a wrestler with his athleticism, his intensity, his explosiveness, and his willingness to put his body on the line to just get a match over and make it entertaining. I thought he showed that well on Fantastica Mania, and I thought he showed it well in this match, this 5-way match, where I thought in a match with a lot of talent, I thought he showed the most out of anybody just in those few minutes there. So I'm gonna go with Soberano Jr.
Yeah. He was your Beast of the Week last week as well, right?
Was he really? I forget things within a week.
Yeah,
two
yeah,
straight weeks. Soberano. See, I told you I like Lucha.
Yeah, I think you went Soberano, I went Mystico. But yeah, Murph, Beast of the Week.
My Beast of the Week's not from Japan. My Beast of the Week's not from AEW.
Hold on. Not from Japan.
My Beast of the Week.
Is it John Cena?
My Beast of the Week is the greatest American wrestler of all time, John Cena. Oh my God, he absolutely ethered Theory. My Lord.
John Cena might be the worst promo of all time.
My only complaint is Stu wasn't there. Stu the cameraman was not there. So he said I'd like mic the camera in or something like that. But Cena, man, he's the man. He got me to turn on Raw. He got me to go on the TV and click.
You couldn't even draw 2 million.
John Cena. Wow. What a guy. John Cena, Beast of the Week. Easy.
I hate that. I really hate that. You put him on the same level as Fujita Jr. Hayato.
Bro, he's John Cena.
What a collection of Beasts of the Week.
Cena's anti-beast. Thank you, Scarecrow. He sucks. He's maybe the worst wrestler of all time. I hate John Cena. I despise him.
How? He's John Cena.
Anyway, fellas, on that sour note, I think we're going to close it out for this week. Thank you, those who tuned in. Thank you for the super chats. Really enjoyed talking some Japanese wrestling this week. Coming up, we'll definitely have a full recap of everything that's going on in New Japan Cup. And yeah, aside from that, next weekend's kind of a light weekend for Japanese wrestling. So maybe we'll give you a bit of a lucha roundup as well.
Yes.
And we'll talk about some more stuff that is upcoming. Maybe we'll preview some bigger shows coming up down the line. For example, there's like an All Japan versus GLEAT show that looks really fun. There's DDT Judgment, TJPW Grand Princess coming up as well.
DDT Judgment would take like 5 episodes. That's a long show. So
it's main evented by Yukio Naya this year. So we'll see how that goes.
Before we head out, I want to plug just before, a couple hours before we went live on the Respirus YouTube channel, we had a video, a year in review of FTR, who were our tag team of the year. Despite some portions of the Respirus galaxy being anti-FTR, really great video voiced by Joe Hulbert of Respirus Worldwide. We have a great video editor, Matt. I want you to go and follow him at Wrestle. I believe it's like Wrestle D or Wrestling D, something like that. But he'll be tagged in stuff. And he's great. He's working on a ton of other good things. I've got a little video coming soon. But go and check that video out. It's really well put together. I think Joe did a great job voicing it as well. So
Joe did a great job. And not to be a tease, but I may be having a little video coming out soon. So
nice.
For all the Adam Cole fans, baby, get ready.
Whoa. He's not going to do it. He said he's going to do it. He's not going to do it. So
I only have 4 classes in my high school schedule right now. So I literally have so much time. So I'm going to do it.
Don't get your hopes up, everybody. I will not be doing that because I do not watch video essays. I do not get the appeal of them.
You should watch ours. You should definitely watch ours.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to, you don't have to though. It's up to you. You should watch this show though. You should watch the Dumb Guy Live. I think that's sort of the important thing I want you to walk away with. Follow this account if you don't. Follow everybody's accounts if you don't. Yeah. And that's gonna do it for us. Thank you for Jamie and Murph. This has been Dumb Guy Live. Thanks for watching.